Got a fresh 48 volt 50 amp hour Chevy Volt module mounted up on the bike, and here's our slightly puffed module that we've been testing. It's got 3 charge and discharge cycles on it so far. And then with our notes, here's our 3 charge and discharge cycles. But like I said, I'm gonna try a fresh module that hasn't been over discharged or puffed or anything to compare to our results from this module. This module is fully charged, and our balance monitor shows we got 24.6 volts in each side of the battery pack. But also, something I noticed about this one, what I noticed is when I put the balance monitor on our slightly puffed module, it's showing a lot of balance, kind of bouncing around a bit there if you can see it. And also I've got some of them same type of readings from checking with the multimeter. Alright, getting ready to take her for a ride with the fresh 48 volt 50 amp hour Chevy Volt module. Got our data sheet already. Got 647.5 miles on the odometer. The voltmeter showing 49.65 volts, and I reset the watt hour counter to 0. And there's our 647.5 and 49.66 and 0. Alright, we've got her up to 334 watt hours used. Battery pack is at 48.03 volts, and our mileage is 651.1. So I want to get data for 100 watt hours and 250 watt hours, but I have to get that off the video. And then as of right now, we're at 334 watt hours. Our voltage is at 47.98, well, it's up to about 48 now, and the mileage is at 651.1. Battery pack's looking good. No type of temperature difference. Motor is barely warm. So is the speed controller. So, doing good so far. Rode it up to the Home Depot to get some stuff during our test. Well, we've got it up to 1173 watt hours used. The battery pack is sitting about 44.5 volt. Well, it's the next morning, so I do a quick little recap. Yesterday we tried out a fresh 48 volt 50 amp hour Chevy Volt module on the motorcycle. We started off with 647.5 miles on the odometer. The volts was at 49.65, and we were 0 on the watt hours meter. I haven't filled in some of the blanks yet, but we run it down to 42.3 volts. That was 1604 on the watt hour counter, and we went up to 666.2 miles. So it looks like we traveled about 18.7 miles on 1604 watt hours. So I stopped the test yesterday about 1, and then started keeping track of things. And then from when we stopped the test, the voltage was at 42.34, and it's kind of bounced until 9 o'clock last night. It was at 42.5 volts from 42.34, and then 11 o'clock last night we were still at 42.5. 9 a.m. this morning was at 42.54, so it went up just a hair overnight. Checked it again at 10, still at 42.54. So I think it went ahead and settled. I'm going to go ahead and charge it up now. I started charging at 10 o'clock this morning, and it jumped up to 42.7 volts. So comparing to our slightly puffed module, let's see here. Well, it looks like on our slightly puffed module, the first time we ran it down to 44.5 volts, then it settled to 44.4, so not a whole lot of change. The next time we ran it down to about 44 volts, and it settled to 44.75 volts, so it raised up about 3/4 of a volt. And then the third time we ran it down to around 44.5 volts, and it settled to 45.05, so raised up about a half a volt or so. This one, the non-puffed one, when we finished the test, we was at 42.3 volts, and overnight it settled to 42.54 volts. So you're only talking not much at all. And we went 18.7 miles as opposed to 14 miles and 12 miles, and wasn't fully charged the first time, so I didn't even keep track of the miles. That's where we are so far. I'll charge it up and we'll do it again, I guess. More to come.